Right, let me just tweet this out and then we'll start.
What was that?
It was some football team.
Alright, let me just get this to the WhatsApp group.
You two must be happy, boy. Arsenal doing well this season.
My boyfriend is.
So you two must be gassed. Arsenal doing so well this season.
Yeah, we lost last week, but we got to win this week.
You move.
But the way the Premier League's been going, I don't know. We need to see in it. So,
I thought you guys are well ahead.
bro, it's us.
We can't lose to City. We need to either beat them twice or lose one, win one. We basically have to go at those 3 games with neutral points.
Nothing's guaranteed in this league. Not yet. Not at this point as well. All right, let's get started. Hello and welcome to another episode of Ringside Fracas. I'm your host, Naeem, and today we've got a bit of a different episode. There's not many fights on, so we're going to go into a bit of a review of the schedule that's been announced in the early quarter of this year. And who better to join me than Jide and Dapo? Jide, how are you?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
I've been good. Dapo, how are you, bro?
I'm excellent, brother. Thank you. How are you?
I've been good. Let's get straight into it. Today, I think last week it was announced we have Anthony Joshua taking on Jermaine Franklin at the O2. Today they had their press conference, so a bit of hype's been generated. Wanted to get your initial thoughts on this fight. So I'm going to come to you first, Dapo. Your boy, Anthony Joshua, AJ, he's back. He's back at O2. How do you feel?
Boy, it's been a roller coaster with AJ, man. It's my guy. But how do I feel? I think the one word that sums it up is intrigued. I'm intrigued. The same way I was intrigued when he linked up with Robert Garcia, I'm super duper intrigued with this link up with Derek Lewis. Obviously, Derek Lewis has been trainer of the year multiple times.
Derek James, bro.
Derek James.
Derek Lewis is the UFC.
Which of you have seen it? My bad. Derek James. Sorry. Yeah, I'm excited about that link up. Obviously, he's won trainer of the year, twice in a row, the past couple of years. And I'm interested to see how being around him and the fighters like the Charlo brothers, Errol Spence, how that's gonna change his psyche and his approach in the ring. So I'm just interested to see. I feel like right now with AJ, you have to wait till he's in the ring to really make an opinion. You have to just wait, see what he's like in the ring. You're gonna either get like a really great performance or something might not go well. He's one of those fighters, right? So yeah, I think it's a good comeback fight. I think the big champions have come back with worse fighters. Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, like they've come back with like worse fighters. So I don't think people that are complaining about this fight, like who do you want him to fight realistically? He's come off 2 losses, So yeah, just have to wait and see.
Jide, what do you think of this fight and Franklin as an opponent?
Yeah, it's like I echo a lot of what Dapo was saying. Comeback fight. Been looking for him to come back. Obviously, we got to get our belts back. So start somewhere. I feel like Franklin's a good opponent. It's arguable he beat White or he drew with White. So it's not like you see Dylan White coming out saying that they're protecting him. The thing is with AJ's been curated into this figure which allows people to just chat shit and disrespect him. And again, it's his fault and it's Matchroom's fault. I'll blame Matchroom because they probably told him, listen to us, don't talk, don't do anything, and we'll just do it for you, which has allowed a lot of success, but it's also allowed a lot of disrespect. That you get guys like Charlo and these guys thinking they can teach him stuff. Like, no, Charlo and them guys are not lit. Like, them guys are bums in my way. They're not bums, but they're not out here fighting guys they're supposed to be fighting. So them kind of guys, they'll be thinking like they can teach him stuff in the gym. Again, it's his fault. I wish AJ started his career with someone like Derek James. Going so long with what's his name?
Rob McCracken.
Rob McCracken like hurt his game because that guy was never a good coach. Like he basically bust off Carl Froch. His exploits with Carl Froch and then being the Team GB head coach. Basically, Carl Froch made his career and he taught Carl Froch how to defend punches with his chin. Like he has never, in my opinion, been a great coach, but that's a topic for another pod.
I feel like, sorry to cut you off, Jude. I feel like now that we're so not far removed, but away from that era, you actually get to see how nonsense that link up was. Like after like, for so long.
It was ridiculous, but again, it was doing up that loyalty. Like again, we used to get onto Lennox Lewis for hating on him because AJ decided to ride with Eddie Hearn instead of him. But low key, I feel like it should have been like, you know what? I'm gonna go with Eddie Hearn, but you should train me. Like he should have got proper for his physical gifts. He should not have been with Robert McCracken. But anyways, that's going off tangent. I think Franklin's a good opponent. Like I said, it's a comeback fight, and I like AJ's energy in the press conference. People were talking about how he's showing his true colors. Every single fight AJ's has now, his haters are saying he's showing his true colors. These guys have never liked him. Like, what do you mean? Firstly, he's fake. Okay. Then when he had his meltdown with Usyk, he's showing his true colors. Look at him, he's no class. And now he's saying he's out here fighting for money. Bro, it's about money. I like this. I feel like this new AJ it's just like, you know what, fuck this. I'm not doing it for the fans anymore. I'm not doing it I don't give a fuck. I'm just doing it for peace. I'm just doing it for myself, and I just want to fight and punch up some people. And I feel like this mentality, married with the Derek James school, like how to pressure someone, how to break people down, go to the body, go to their head, be aggressive, but be smart with your aggression. I feel like it would work. And again, I know Dapper, when I said get our belts back, he was like, I truly still feel like AJ has the physical gifts to get a win. If he fought Usyk 10 times, I don't think he loses 10 times. I'll tell you that for free. I feel like every fight that happens, he gets used to him a bit better. The second fight, AJ done so well until Usyk went up that another gear. And I feel like he's gone to trenches with 2 fights against Usyk. He knows. I'm not saying he beats him, by the way, so don't misquote me. But I feel like in those 2 losses, he's probably learned way more than probably any win apart from maybe Klitschko.
I will say, sorry to cut you off.
No, that's fine.
So, one thing I wanted to say is, I see a lot of people in the comments saying like, no, now that he's showing his true colors and he's being this way, and they're saying that he doesn't have the hunger for it anymore. And I completely disagree with that statement. I don't feel like because you say to fans like, listen, I'm fine because of money. I don't think that straight away correlates to I don't care about fighting anymore. I don't care about the fans or the sport. Like, people need to understand how much being able to feed your family is a motivation. Like saying, oh, you know, I'm doing this for money, prize fighting, I want to feed my family, etc., is just another roundabout way of saying, like, think about how many fighters that say that. I came from the bottom, I came from nothing. It's the same thing. It's literally the same thing. So I don't understand why people are so like.
It's AJ, man. That's why they like that. Like,
if Tyson Fury said the same thing,
bro, Tyson Fury's been saying
10 kids, people won't bat an eye.
Tyson Fury's been saying, he said, I'm not fighting Usyk unless you give me 500 million. His fans were.
Even if Usyk said the same thing, I've got kids in Ukraine, I want to feed Ukraine, I want more money. No one cares.
No one cares. It's AJ.
I don't understand why that means he doesn't care about the sport or whatever. Like, at the end of the day, these lot need money. They're fighting. they're punching each other. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's AJ, man, and I feel like him going to America, going away from the British press, away from all of that. Obviously, he's fighting in the O2, and I like that the fight's not pay-per-view as well. That's actually good. And you see, that's what I also like about AJ. Obviously, he's made a lot of money from pay-per-views and stadium fights, but him saying, you know what, let's fight on normal TV. All these other guys wouldn't fight on normal TV. They will still try and put it behind the paywall. But he's like, no, fuck it. Non-pay-per-view on the zone. Let me get back. Let's get back to it. And for me, it does this fight. Hopefully, it looks good. Then we get a Wilder fight. Obviously, Wilder's gonna fight Ngannou next for some bullshit fight. Knock out Ngannou, yeah, make your money, and let's go. Let's see AJ Wilder. But none of you got belts. The winner becomes WBC mandatory, and we get the winner of Undisputed. Let's do that. Like, so, you know what? Yeah, I'm good with it, man. I'm happy and I'm keen to see how AJ is gonna look in this fight. I want to see what he's been working with Derek James.
Yeah.
He's not gonna become the perfect Derek James fighter overnight, but if he establishes certain patterns, how to use an effective jab to set up body shots and things like that, I'm seeing him doing things like that. Then I'll be like, you know what, I'll be quite confident. So yeah,
I feel like I was gonna actually ask both of you, you and Naeem actually. So, with what you know about Derek James as a trainer and how his fighters typically fight, what kind of tools do you think a Derek James can give an AJ? Think about AJ's limitations. Think about where he succeeds at. Like, let's be realistic here. What tools do you think he can give an AJ to be more successful at the top of these Tyson Furies and these Usyks and these Wilders and this? Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm interested in. I want to see. So yeah, that's a question to you guys.
Did you want to answer or shall I answer?
no, you answer first.
So with Derek James, he kind of like, if you look at Jamal Charlo and Errol Spence, they like fighting in mid range or in the pocket, and they're comfortable fighting there, throwing their combinations, looking for body shots, and sometimes very selective with their shots, but very accurate with their shots, and they've got power with them. And obviously AJ's got power. The difference is what Derek can't teach him is being comfortable, being in that range, taking shots to give a shot. Because sometimes Errol Spence and Jamal do take not a lot, but they do take a shot once they're in that range, in that mid-range pocket, right? So he's sort of, this is a good opponent for him to see, because Franklin's going to come here and try to make it a tough night. He's not the best opponent ever, obviously, but it's a good comeback opponent, and he's going to want to see, can AJ throw the combinations in the mid-range, in the pocket? When the punches are flying towards him, is he going to still keep his base firm and to start swinging back as well? He's also going to look to use his jab more, but more to break down the defense of a fighter and so he can come into that mid-range. And because AJ is quite good, what we've seen on his come up with the combinations on the mid-range, that's where he gets a lot of guys. So that's what Derek. I feel like if Derek, and he's a great trainer, he's not going to try to change Anthony Joshua as a person or as a fighter. He's just going to make those little tweaks, and there's certain areas where he's lacking to take him to that extra level, which I think is the right strategy. But only time will tell, isn't it? So.
Yeah, and for me, what I'd say is, like the reason why we've all said Derek James would be a good style matchup for AJ is based on where AJ likes to operate. AJ likes to operate in the mid-range. That's where he does his best work. He likes to throw short counters. When you throw a lazy jab or lazy cross, AJ loves to counter you. And he likes to go to the body, although he's not known as a massive body attacker. When he does go to the body, you see he does some good work, and then he follows it up with good uppercuts. So
I wish he was a good body puncher, man.
He is.
He is a good body puncher.
Yeah. When he
Just
fought
because
Povetkin,
he
his
doesn't-
reputation was body punching. He broke down Povetkin because of his body.
Yeah,
punch.
he doesn't do it a lot because he doesn't.
I think that's what I meant. I don't think he does it as much as I would want him to.
Yeah, he's when he does it, he's good. But again, he's had Rob McCracken. Like,
Yeah, because Usyk was feeling them body shots, man.
let me not go there. But yeah, so he will make him do things that will complement his style, complement his strengths. But what Derek James can't teach AJ is being comfortable to take hits. That's a mental thing. If AJ's overcome that, I don't know. We don't know. But he needs to overcome the fear of getting punched. He needs to accept, yeah, I can get knocked out, but I'm going to have to try and knock you out before you knock me out. He needs to accept that mentality. If he accepts that mentality of knockout to get knocked out, obviously, I'm not saying just leave your chin out there and get stopped. But if you're ready to take calculated risk, which is the Derek James style, he's willing to take calculated risks, he will be a very, very dangerous fighter, which is why I'm saying I believe in a rematch with an older Usyk, because before, let's say Usyk wins it all now, he probably has 2 fights max left. And again, if he managed to beat Tyson Fury, the wear and tear will still be on his body. So, and he has to beat him twice. So let's say in a magical world, Usyk beats Fury twice. I feel like it would take such a toll on him, and it'll be another year older, it'll be 37, 36, 37, as a smaller heavyweight. That's gonna, and then a Derek James focused AJ who's been with him for 2 years, 3 years. I feel like he can do it. I feel like he can get those belts back. And if that's not the case, and let's say Fury beats Usyk, beats him twice, and sells off into the sunset, Usyk sells on into the sunset. Out of the heavyweights at the top of the pile, it's not like it's impossible for him to win belts back. There's no one who's so far and above anyone coming up. Like, there's no one. Let's be real. Obviously, there's a lot of talented guys, but when they stepped up, we've seen their flaws. So, yeah, I feel like he still has a lot of say, a lot of gravitas in this heavyweight division. So, I'm very excited to see how this journey goes.
I also think one thing is the hard sparring needs to come in, especially in the camp. Like, you need tough guys in there to come and give you a good night's work, because if you don't have tough sparring, you can never find out really who you are until you're in the ring. That's why, like, kind of like when he fought Ruiz or Klitschko, sometimes there were times where he kind of doubted himself, especially in the Ruiz one. He's like, why am I feeling like this? Because you can tell he's not had a lot of hard spars. I think with Robert Garcia, if Garcia actually had more of a say in that camp, he would have taken him out to California and Oxnard and said, look, I'm putting you with all the tough guys, all the tough Mexicans I can find. I'm going to stick them in there with you and see how you fare with them. And I think that's what Derek needs to do, is get in, like, not a lot, but get in a few tough spars so that AJ's kind of, he builds that confidence, because you're in that experience when you're taking a punch. So, but we'll see what approach AJ has, because we still don't know if Derek has more of a say in this camp, or is it like, Robert Garcia, where he's kind of on the side and not really allowed to say much.
Yeah, man, that link up was brilliant. I got one more question though.
I feel like the Americans won't have it. Derek James won't have it to be second to Angel Fernandez. He won't have it. It would be.
Is Angel Fernandez in the picture, or is it just Derek James now?
I don't even know. He's probably.
AJ is working with.
Well, he's not. He's not gonna be like, oh, yeah, you're gonna listen to me and then listen to him. It's gonna be, is it you either here or you're not? So,
I mean, he's training in America, so that's a big difference, I guess.
Yeah.
He's not training here anymore. He's training out there. I got one more question. If granted AJ wins, let's say he wins, do you guys think him going to points would hurt him?
Yes.
Or do you think it's essential he needs a knockout?
if he goes to points, it'll hurt his stock.
Yeah.
But if he goes to points doing what Derek James wants him to do, I'm not going to be mad at it, because it just means more rounds under the belt. But if he goes to points for the fan,
like how Dylan went to points.
Yeah, if he labors to points like that, then yeah, it's done for AJ. He needs to look good. He needs to look good. He actually, like, Wilder looked great knocking out
Lenius. Yeah.
Lenius. Like, he has to look good. So yeah.
Yeah, it's the type of fight you want to show everyone that you're still on that world title winning level. So you have to look good, or else that, like we said, that stocks kind of drops. But only, the proof's in the pudding, and we have to see like what work they've done, what improvements they made, and what changes they're making.
Yeah.
That April the 1st can't come soon enough. And on that card, we've got the finally rearranged fight, Craig Richards versus Ricards Bolotniks. That was meant to happen on the White Franklin card. It's happened on the Joshua Franklin card. Bolotniks was obviously a former Buatsi opponent, and so Craig Richards. For me, I think this is probably Craig Richards' first fight where I think he's gonna win, and he's gonna get his name rolling a bit more in the light heavyweight division, because I think he's had the fights with Bivol and Buatsi. He showed a good account of himself. Obviously, he couldn't get the win, but this fight he'll get the win, and finally we'll maybe start to hear his name in with some of the fringe world level guys. What do you guys think of this? I'm going to come to you first, Jide.
Yeah, it's a good fight for him. It's a fight I feel like he should win. Craig Richards has always been fundamentally sound. He's always been strong. He's always thrown good shots, and he's always been game. And that's the one thing you always say about Craig Richards. He gives everyone a good fight. So I feel like this Bolotniks fight will be a great fight. looking forward to it. In terms of the light heavyweight division, it's just unfortunate to be in an era where the top two are so much better than everyone, and it's like he has to bridge the Buatsi gap. Who Buatsi should have fought one of these guys by now. He really should have.
Yeah.
But he hasn't, which is crazy. But anyway, he has to bridge that Buatsi gap to then get to a Bivol. And it's like we saw over the weekend, Albert Terbiev just dealt with Anthony Yard, which was a great fight. My prediction 7-9 hit, just saying. But
don't do that. Don't do that.
it was a great. Nah, I'm joking.
Don't do that. Lewis.
Anthony put up a great fight. That's probably one of the best fights of the year. Like,
that was lit. I watched that fight live. That was
amazing. I watched it so many times. But point I'm trying to make is that's that level. And I feel like if Craig Richards was in there with Beterbiev, the same thing would have happened. So now he's fighting this guy. He needs to look good. He needs to separate himself from these type of fighters and say, I'm at that world level, because Callum Smith is fighting Beterbiev next. And then after that, we might get undisputed, we might not. We just don't know what's going to happen. Then Craig Richards to say, after he deals with him, I want Callum Smith, I want Buatsi, I want Anthony Yard. Put himself back in that mix. Because Anthony Yard's probably going to look at him and think, why would I fight you next? I'm fighting the very best guys. I'm at that level. You're dangerous, but what do you bring to me? So he needs to make a statement. Craig Richards needs to make a big statement in this fight so he can put his name along like I said, there's 1A, which is Beterbiev and Bivol, and then the 1Bs and Bs, and that's that range of fighters. He needs to launch himself and lodge himself deep in that to say, yeah, like, you guys can't ignore me. I'm next. So Eddie Hearn, make this fight happen. Make the fight with Buatsi again. I want that rematch. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Dapper, what do you think about this fight?
Yeah, I think it's a must win, and I think, like you, Naeem, I think he has a very good chance of winning. The light heavyweight division is super interesting. Like, I think it's one of the most underrated divisions right now. Because although I agree with what Jide said in terms of the top two guys in the division being a lot better than everybody else, it's interesting because I do still feel like some of these guys that are beneath them will cause them troubles. And there are different reasons as to why I think they will cause them troubles. So, for instance, Beterbiev, he looked great against Yard. I think he looked great against Yard. But I personally feel like his age is starting to show. Like, that's just me personally. I feel like he is getting older. You can't fight time. Like, you just can't. And I think some of these, like one of these guys, if he keeps fighting them, will end up becoming successful against him. So that's an interesting one. But because of how good he is, it builds that sort of question. Every time he fights one of these guys, that question is always over everyone's head. Is Beterbiev's age going to catch up to him for this fight? I think some of Anthony Yard's strengths, for example, were showcased a lot because of that. The athleticism, the youth in him. He was able to move around the ring really well. It's really interesting. And I can't remember if it was Sebi or Sate that said this, but Bivol versus Callum Smith is interesting too. Like, I find that fight really interesting because of how tall Callum is and his reach, etc., etc. I feel like he can give Bivol problems. I agree with that 100%. I was thinking about it. I was like, you know what? They're actually right. I can see this. So I feel like this
Bivol flogs him, man.
No, Bivol wins. Bivol wins. No, I don't think he loses to any of these guys. I'm just saying it's interesting to see him in there, see them in there with these guys, because I do feel like these guys have the potential to cause some issues. Not win per se, but I do feel like these guys can cause them some problems. Back to Craig Richards though, echo everything you guys are saying so far. If he wins this, he has leverage. Depending on how he wins as well, we can see him in there. Obviously, he's already fought Bivol. He didn't get the win, but he put up a good fight. Who knows? Maybe we can see him in there with Beterbiev. Even Richards versus Yard is a good fight if he wins as well. So yeah, it's a good division, man. But yeah, unfortunately, the top two guys are just way too good. And the way that Bivol the way that Bivol handled that, is it Zerdo?
Yeah.
Yeah, the way Bivol handled him, yeah, it's crazy because Zerdo
Bro,
has
Bivol
as Callum Smith.
Bivol is an orthodox Pacquiao, without
Yeah.
a doubt. Like, he's got immense cardio. The way he fights, like, he doesn't get hit. Like, obviously, we say Pacquiao gets hit, but if you really look at Pacquiao, he actually has, based on how aggressive he is, his defense is actually quite good. Again, I'm not out here to say Pacquiao's some defensive wizard, but Pacquiao is so aggressive, he only gets hit, 30% of the time? Like, if you really deep it, because he attacks so much, and then he attacks, he's out, he's in, he's out, he's in, he's out, he slips, he throws his left hand. Like, if you look at the way Bivol fights, obviously Bivol's a lot more defensively responsible than Pacquiao. But again, Bivol throwing jabs, throwing multiple jabs, throws his right hand, slips, hits you, and then he's off, he's away. It's like, and he's got so much cardio. Like, this is why I feel like Beterbiev is in trouble. If he doesn't get this fight soon, it's just gonna get worse for him. For me, the guy can go. He's like the Energizer Bunny. I don't know what they feed these Russians, but he's like the Energizer Bunny where he can just.
He looked completely fine versus Zordo and
Bro,
off round.
he was when it really dawned on me, this guy is a hype and Canelo should forget about it, is, bro, in the 10th, 11th, and 12th round against Canelo, guy was fighting like it was the first round. I was like,
yeah, and Canelo was breathing like a dog.
bro, he's breathing. I was like, this guy on peds. And then the Zerdo fight, same thing, every round. I feel like him, Usyk are the only two guys that I know.
Yeah, they're peak.
Fight at the last round, like the first round. I don't know what cardio they do, but it is fake. And this is what I'm saying. This is the level the guys below Beterbiev and Bivol have to reach. Like, Beterbiev doesn't need to have that stamina because that guy is going to knock you out. He's gonna hurt you. He's gonna get to you. But even him, he has the stamina. His staying power is ridiculous. He hurts you every round. If he hits you, he's going to hurt you no matter what round it is. So yeah, the light heavyweight division is just so peak. It's one of the best divisions because it's not as political, so we get fights, and I feel like
100%. Yeah,
but yeah,
you're right.
I wouldn't say that because it's been 5 years and neither Bivol or Beterbiev have ever come.
Yeah, but that's more like what I'll say is that is annoying. It is annoying, but because there's only two of them, and also it's the two best guys, and we still want to see them fight.
I mean, at least everyone else is fighting each other, you know.
Yeah, we're getting others to fight. Like, compare this to welterweight, lightweight, or
no one fights each other.
These guys are just not trying to fight. We're gonna talk about that when we talk about Shakur soon, but
I think the only thing with the Bivol Beterbiev problem is these guys at the B level, you're saying, but below them, they should still keep fighting, trying to get their names up, because there's a chance that both Bivol and Beterbiev leave the division soon. Because Beterbiev's talked about going to cruiserweight because he's getting older, so he wants to try his hand at becoming a multi-division champion. And Bivol's said he wants to, if he fights Canelo, he wants to do it at 168. And who knows, if the 168 cut goes well, he might say, screw it, let me just stay here because there are bigger fights here for me to make. So there's always that chance that the belts could free up and then they could go and get a vacant belt. So it's always good to keep yourself at the top, beat the top guys, and you never know what boxing could bring you. So it's going to be a good fight between Craig Richards and Bolotniks. And talking about another light heavyweight fight, we've got Callum Smith in March, I think, taking on Powell Stepien in Liverpool. I'll just come out with it straight away. No one knows who Stepien is. He's some random Polish geezer they got. He's beaten nobody. He beat a former Beterbiev foe this last year, the guy that knocked out that Karo Tama guy. But yeah, he's beaten nobody. It's like, if you look at his record, there's not a single person you look at there and go, oh, this is going to be a problem for Callum Smith, or this could be a potential banana peel. He's undefeated, but that's the only thing about him that's appealing, I guess, the fact that he's undefeated. But everyone he's fought, it's not looking great. It just seems like it's just an ego boost for Callum Smith and some momentum before they launch him into that Beterbiev mandatory fight. Dapo, what do you think?
Bro, I don't know who this guy is. I can't even sit here and pretend like I know who this is, bro.
But what do you think about the fact that no one knows who this guy is, and it's Callum Smith, and the fact that they're setting this up for a Beterbiev fight next?
This is a crazy fight to have before a championship fight. Like, fighting someone that nobody knows is crazy to me. Anyways, but it's boxing. How many fights has Callum had at light heavyweight now? Two fights?
Yeah.
2 fights, right? Yeah, I don't know. I would have liked to see him in there with like even a Joe Smith or someone of that level before Beterbiev, but
I can't lie. I'm not mad at it, man. I'm not mad. Should I say I'm not mad at it?
Go for it.
You don't get these opportunities. You don't fuck up the opportunity. Imagine he goes and fights Joe Smith and gets clocked. He's lost the mandatory position. I hear you. I completely hear you. But this guy is just Powell. He's just there to keep Callum fresh. Callum is here. He's gonna try and win the title. If he wins the title, his life changes. If he doesn't, it was just another challenger. That's it. And that's all we're gonna expect from it. No one's looking at Callum Smith versus Beterbiev and saying, this is a fight we should have built up to be a massive fight to make millions. You know what I'm saying? It's just, bro, good luck. You're fighting an aging champion. This is the best time to get him. Go for it. Try your best. So I'm not mad he's fighting Powell Stephan because he knows that that's not really the fight he's trying to get. He just wants to make sure he's fresh for when that fight inevitably happens, which is going to happen very soon. So, yeah.
For me, I just think I don't expect them to do like a Callum Smith versus Boazzi or whatever, but at least someone who's not going to sort of fall over at the first punch or whatever. And someone kind of stylistically what they need to fight Beterbiev, like a pressure fighter that's going to stick on Callum. Because I said last week to Lewis, Callum Smith is probably an easier fight for Beterbiev than Anthony Yarde, because stylistically, whenever Callum faces pressure fighters, all his composure goes. He can't find his range. He can't use his length. And then he's always
still angry at that Canelo fight. That Canelo fight was hell.
Imagine that. So if Canelo could do that, what was Beterbiev going to do to him? If John Ryder could do that, back him up, make him uncomfortable for so many rounds, what do you think Beterbiev's going to do? And like with Callum Smith, even at heavyweight, he's gotten the knockouts at light heavyweight. But if you see the fight, you know the fight he had on the undercard with AJ's undercard. The guy, he was trading with the guy. The guy didn't have that much punching power, so you can trade with him. But you're still getting backed up and getting hit with a lot of shots. So imagine if that's Beterbiev backing him up, hitting him with shots. Is he going to still stand there, be able to trade? I feel like Callum Smith Beterbiev is just a one-way street where you'll see early on, maybe Callum gives a few problems with a couple counters. As the fight progresses, you just see Callum's composure go, and he just tries to look for the moral victory, was to try to make it to a decision, but he'll get stopped eventually. And this is a main event for the Liverpool fans. I mean, if you're a Callum Smith fan, I guess you get to see him again, but the fact is the main event is mad. If it's a walkover, it doesn't do anything for Callum because it's not going to really help you prepare for someone like Beterbiev, or at least get sort of fresh if he's just a walkover. So. But, I guess, we have to see what is in the cards for Callum and if they can actually get that Beterbiev fight over. So moving on to the other side of the pond, we've got Shakur Stevenson announced team's fighting Shuichiro Yoshino. Yoshino's undefeated. He's beaten Nakatani and Masayuki Ito, two known guys at lightweight and junior lightweight. Dapper, how do you think of this fight?
I don't know too much about Yoshino, but I do know that he's coming off a win against remind me of the fighter's name? Nakatani. So I know that, and I know Nakatani fought Lomachenko, right? Yep. It's not a high level fight. I wouldn't say he's on the radar of like the lightweight, the lightweights that you need to keep an eye on. So it's unfortunate that we're not getting those fights from Shakur, but at the same time, this is what Shakur's second fight at lightweight.
First fight.
This is his first fight lightweight, right?
Yeah, first fight.
I'm not mad at it. I'll be honest. I'm not too mad at it. It's his first fight at the weight class. Let's see how he's adjusted to the weight, and let's see how it goes. Really, that's all I have to say about this fight, to be honest.
Yeah, I've seen Yoshino fight. He fought on the there was this one card I was watching between Taraji and Kyoguchi. There's like flyweights in it. He's quite good. He's got a good punch. I just think for someone of Shakur's level, even if it's a first fight, someone like Jermaine Ortiz would have made sense to me because he gave Lomachenko a lot of problems. And I thought, okay, you put him in there with a live dog like Jermaine Ortiz. And if he beats him, then you start to get a bit more momentum rolling. With Yoshino, because Yoshino's big in Japan, but not really big elsewhere, you're not really going to get that momentum. But it's a WBC title eliminator. So if he wins this, then his next fight should be the winner of Haney and Lomachenko whenever that fight's done. So hopefully after this fight, and he does look good in this fight, which he should do. I think he's a level above Yoshino, and he'll comfortably get a decision over him. I think we should be seeing Shakur take on either Haney or Lomachenko, or if Haney moves up, then for the vacant belt. So we'll see what's to offer for him. Jide, what do you think about Shakur taking on Yoshino?
Yeah, Yoshino has fought all his fights in Japan. If you see, he's unbeaten. But again, if you look at the guys he's beat, a lot of them losing, like not losing records, but have a lot of losses. Nagtani's his best opponent by far. So it's a fight Shakur should win. He should win very comfortably. And I don't think Shakur's got power like that, so I don't expect him to stop him, but I expect him to dominate him. I expect Shakur to blitz him. But this again is a symptom of the issue we have in super featherweight and lightweight. None of these guys want to fight. None of these guys want to fight Shakur. They're scared of Shakur. I understand Shakur is a generational talent. He's going to whoop a lot of these guys' asses. But still, you should fight him in super featherweight. Bro, the amount of effort just to get guys to fight him, excuses. They want the greatest paydays of their entire lives. The nonsense going on with PBC beef, like the Cold War with PBC, Matchroom, Top Rank, like Shakur, if P Shooter held any of the belts at lightweight, right, we will not get, even if Shakur wins that eliminator, we will not get the fight. I'm confident that either Haney or Loma, the winner, will fight Shakur. The winner or the loser.
Bro, P Shooter is such a hell name, man. I can't get over that name.
I'm not calling him Tank until he actually fights people I want to see. So until he fights someone that's actually good, he's going to be known as P Shooter. So until if P beats Ryan, like look at the nonsense with the Ryan Garcia situation.
That fight is annoying me, man.
Bro has not done like Stefan.
I don't think we get that fight.
We're not. Stefan Espinosa confirmed P Shooter didn't do 200k pay-per-views. So why don't you humble yourself? You're already getting everything you want. Just accept the two-way rematch. Just accept it. It's not that deep. If you're that much better than this guy, you will knock him out twice. I don't agree with rematch clauses like this. I'll tell you for free. I believe rematch clauses should only exist for voluntaries. Well, this is a voluntary technically because they're not even fighting for anything. But for voluntaries, number one, and when someone is the clear A side. P Shooter is not the clear A side versus Ryan Garcia. So there shouldn't be a rematch clause. Winner takes all, like the old days, so we can get the division moving. But anyway, this is about Shakur. None of these guys will fight Shakur. I'll tell you that for free. That's why Shakur has to get the belts. He has to get the belts. And when he gets the belts, let's say P Shooter wins. Let's say P Shooter and Ryan Garcia win. Fight. I feel like P Shooter would win that. P Shooter will win that. But he's not going to fight Shakur. He's going to keep running around saying he's a regular champion. Go fight at a 140, another regular belt. Probably go to 147 to avoid everyone for a regular belt. And maybe boil down to 128 again. He's just not going to fight Shakur till Shakur grows out the division. That is what's going to happen. It's just too... Lightweight is too political. It's become... It went from one of the greatest divisions. Going through guys. This is why I was disappointed that Loma lost. When Loma was the guy and was still running through guys, he was fighting everyone that wasn't in the PBC. He was ready to fight everyone that wasn't PBC. So we got fights. But now it's just because it's become so fractured, we're not getting the same sort of fights. So yeah, man, that's my thought to that.
The thing I rate about Shakur is this is his second fight in a row where he's taken on a kind of unknown entity. You're muted, by the way. Oh, okay. Yeah, he's taken on an unknown entity who is quite good. Like if you're a purist and you kind of watch Yoshino and Konsei Sao as well, they're decent, tricky opponents who could cause most fighters a lot of problems at least. But because they're unknown, a lot of guys will look at, oh, this Shakur Yoshina fight, Shakur will wash him, and if he doesn't look as good as they expect him to, he loses stock because they don't know the other fighter. So that's why I rate from his mentality. Yoshina's not an easy fight. He's not the best fight, but he's not an easy fight. He's an unknown, like I said, he's an unknown entity. You don't know what you're going to get from him because he might have the performance of his life against Shakur. Remember, he's unbeaten. He's moving up the levels, and he's kind of showing he's getting better. Same with Conceição. He gave Valdez such a huge problems on that night. Arguably won that fight. We were talking about that on the pod when that fight happened. But same thing. So I rate it from Shakur, and hopefully he gets rewarded with a big fight soon. Because the one thing I think he's lacking now is a bit of promotion. I think his name isn't as big as it should be. But once that big fight, I think that Valdez fight was big but not huge. But once he gets that big fight at lightweight, I think hopefully he'll come out soon. And this year should be the year we kind of get to see a chapter in Shakur Stevenson's career move forward. So it's going to be exciting to see what the future lies for Shakur. And just a couple more things. So recently, Golden Boy announced that Zurdo Ramirez, the number 4 light heavyweight contender in the world, is taking on Gabriel Rosado. I like Rosado, but he's a journeyman at best. He's a gatekeeper at 168.
Journeyman. He's beyond the journeyman now. He's a
gatekeeper.
He's not even a gate. He's a corpse.
Okay.
Gabe Rosado is a corpse. He's not, bro. Man was still active when we had guys like.
He gave Jaime Munguia a good fight, though, no?
I don't give a damn, bro. Bro was active in the era of what's this guy's name? I forgot what this guy's. Bro, it was active when guys like Maravella was active, Sergio Martinez. Like we're talking 2010 guys. Paul Williams, that's it. Gabe Rosado was active when Paul Williams was still an active fighter. Paul Williams hasn't fought in how many years? Like this Winky Wright. I'm sure Gabe Rosado was active when Winky Wright was still active. I'm sure he was. Probably was. If I look, I'll probably.
He was around. He made his debut at 2006.
Yeah. This is the guy.
That is hell. 2006.
This is the guy. That's what I said. He's a corpse, bro. I remember this guy clearly. This corpse is still fighting, and you got it. Boxing is cooked, guys. Our sport is cooked. This is a disgrace. That's what I'm saying. He's no longer.
Boxing is cooked.
He's no longer. I don't call him a journeyman.
That's why we don't talk about him in the chat.
He's a corpse. How are you gonna make this fight and think it's some sort of? No.
Do you know what's so hell about this fight? It came out of nowhere. It came so left field. Like it came out of nowhere, and I'm confused because Zoldo, obviously, okay, he got dominated by Bivol, but he didn't get knocked out or like slept or like dismantled. Like he got schooled, fair enough. But why would you go from a fight with one of the champions in your division to a fight like this? It doesn't make sense for me. Like even in like a development perspective, I just don't understand this fight. Like, what does it do for Zoldo? What's in it for Zoldo?
It's a disgrace on all sides because you've got a guy in Rosado who has had 3 wins in the last 7 years. 3 wins in the last 7 years. He's coming off of 3 straight losses. He's not fought at 175 ever in his career. The highest he's fought is 168. And even then he lost. And you've got someone in Zurdo who's 44-1, who's fought everyone. He's fought top guys at 168. He's fought top guys at 175. And he's in that world level bracket of 175. And yeah, like you said, it's like when Anthony Yard, and I'm not taking shots, it's kind of like when Anthony Yard went to fight Kovalev and then he went back down and fought some guy in a Spanish warehouse. This I'd equate is worse because Rosado's moving up to a weight he's never fought and he's come off with so many losses. For this, it's just an ego stroke for Zurdo and for Golden Boy just to keep protecting the asset, because that's what they do with Jaime Munguia, with Zurdo. They're just going to keep protecting the asset as long as they can. And with Zurdo, with Rosado, he's the type of guy, if tomorrow they said, Zurdo pulled out, but Deontay Wilder's going to step in, we want you to fight him, he'll fight him. He's got that mentality where he'll fight anyone, any place, anytime, any weight. And that's why, as a fan, you can rate him because of his attitude to boxing. He'll always fight whoever. But this is a guy whose trainer thought Triple G was going to kill him in the ring if he didn't stop it. Like, there's a guy who put his heart on the line. Doesn't matter. But these people at Golden Boy, the commission who's sanctioning this, everyone involved in that fight is just taking advantage of Rosado just so they can get Zodo a big knockout. It's a name. Get momentum rolling back again because he got embarrassed and spanked by Bivol, and try to make him a bit more macho. Because remember, Zodo's not no normal average light heavyweight. He's gonna come in at 204 pounds. Like, he's gonna come in like a cruiserweight. He's gonna weigh in considerably heavier than Rosado, and it just spells something waiting to go wrong. And it's just something, if something does go wrong, it really does give boxing a bad name. And like there has to be like an investigation going into it, like how this fight got sanctioned, how this fight got made in the first place. And I don't know, when I saw this fight get made, I was just pissed. I was like, there's no reason for this fight to happen. There's literally no narrative you can run. It's just disappointing, man. And this is the problem we have with boxing sometimes, is it shoots itself in the foot. This is going to be a shot, and it's shooting itself in the foot, and it's going to be disgusting to see because it can only go one way.
It's a disgrace. As simple as that. Like, I hope, and this is why I'm not, when everyone's like, oh, Terence Crawford joining Golden Boy is good, because no, like, again, I'm happy he's joined Golden Boy or he's working with him for whatever reason. I'm happy because, again, get your money in it. But none of these guys, none of these legacy names in boxing have shown to us they do things for the sake of boxing, for the fans or for the fighters. And this is a prime example. You're bringing a corpse out of where you found him from to just get absolutely flatlined by Zerdo just for shits and giggles. But again, Rosado's a man in it. I'm not here to tell any man what to do with themselves. But I'm not rating this win. I'm not counting it. I don't care about it. I'm not watching this fight because I already know what's gonna happen, so I don't really care about it. Be that real.
It's just it's disgraceful to see, man. It's just really bad to see that. One last fight, which I didn't expect to see. Alberto Puello versus Rolly Romero. Alberto Puello is the WBA champion, and so Rolly's now fighting for a world title at 140. Someone on Twitter said, I think it was Jimmy, he said, this is probably Al Heyman's play, where if Rolly wins this world title, then they'll make the Tank fight too, and then get Tank a legit title shot and title at 140 if they do that rematch. What do you think about Rolly getting a title shot off the back of a loss? I'll come to you first, Dapo, and then Jide.
Are you coming to me first? That's crazy. That's crazy. Title shot after a knockout loss. Boxing. I find it interesting that sparring footage had come out just before this fight was announced. Right? Did it come out before the fight was announced or after?
Yeah, just before.
Just before.
Viral clip.
It's interesting chain of events. I haven't really put together why I'm confused by these chain of events, but something fishy is going on here. I don't know, but I don't. This is a weird fight. I don't know how this has come up, but good luck to both men.
Let's go to our resident Tank expert. So, got former Tank opponent Rolly Romero. What do you think about this fight happening? Well, it's in the works basically, so it's going to happen.
As Tank's biggest fan, P Shooter's biggest fan, P Shooter doesn't have a bigger fan than me. I follow his career. I love everything he does. I have to say, this fight is an absolute disgrace. This is corruption. The WBA and the PBC have been in bed for years. They essentially the investigations to stop all these fake regular titles was because of the abuse of the PBC using this regular titles to basically just ruin the sport. Just have so many different and they always seem to navigate PBC fighters into favorable positions. Rolly Romero got knocked out in his last fight by Tank and is getting a title shot against Alberto Puello. Again, I'm not mad at Alberto Puello because I'm sure he's going to get paid. Yeah, it's as simple as that. I'm sure he's going to get paid, but he's gonna get. He's set up to lose, and we're right. Like if Romero wins this fight, he's gonna rematch Tank. It's come on. It's obvious. P Shooter's gonna get his title shot. P Shooter's gonna knock him out. P Shooter's gonna now be a legitimate 140 champion. Then P Shooter's gonna relinquish the belt, or better yet, the WBA will protect P and keep giving him scrubs, a bunch of regular fighters, regular title guys. Oh, it's just sickening, man. I just can't wait till I feel like we're at that stage in boxing where the legacy names needs to just crash. So there's rumors of Paramount that now they've bought Showtime, so PBC and Showtime boxing might end and die. Again, I don't want these things to die because obviously you want fighters to get paid, but I feel like maybe if PBC fail, Top Rank will be fine, I guess. Matchroom take a hit. I don't know. Like, if all these guys get flogged to the point where they're like, you know what? We actually have to work together. We actually need to work together because if we're trying to protect our asset, we don't even have nothing to protect. If Fox don't want to work with you no more, if ESPN don't want to work with you no more, if Sky don't want to work with you no more, again, this is me being mad optimistic. If all these guys don't want to work with you anymore, unless you fight each other, we are going to get a good sport again. So, this fight is a disgrace. It's simple corruption. P Shooter's going to get the winner. P Shooter's going to get a 140 belt. And I'm not going to count it. I know his fans are going to come and talk to me about how 100K pay-per-views makes him a superstar and the biggest name in boxing since Floyd Mayweather. They're going to come and say that. And when P gets his 140 title, I'm sure they're going to say he's the greatest 140 champion of all time. He's the best fighter they've seen since Floyd Mayweather. P Shooter's so dynamic. He can knock anyone now. He can knock out heavyweights. They're going to say all this stuff. But until P fights a legitimate opponent where there's risk of him losing, I'm not going to rate his career. He has one of the most disappointing careers in boxing. Legit. Like, if you go back and tell me of talented fighters with generational talent, because that's what he has, by the way. I'm not here to diminish his ability. He's very talented. He has one of the most disappointing careers, and he's been enabled by his stupid fans talking about him selling out arenas, and he's been enabled by the stupid promoters. Floyd Mayweather, the worst promoter of all time, one of the worst human beings out there. It's been enabled by Leonard Enderby with his big nose. It's been ruined by him. So all these guys have potentially ruined one of the best fighters we have had in this generation. And I hope they're happy. So Romero, go get your crap 140 title. P Shooter, go fight Romero, get your 140 title from him. And look, just be merry. Just be merry somewhere. Deontay Wilder's already come out and say Heyman don't pay him no money. A lot of these guys are coming out saying Heyman be paying them in installments. They don't get their money. So boy, it's peak for the PBC. So we'll see. You know what? I'm here for the ride at this point. So yeah.
Chris Andre says, great comment. These networks need to be in a position where they need to work together, but you hit on the nail on the head that fans actually stop it happening with propaganda. Yeah, I mean, in boxing, the tribalism is so different. It's like, imagine in football if Man U fan and Arsenal fans went at each other, but then Man U fans went, oh, we don't need to play Arsenal. We can just play Leeds and try beat them, and that proves we're better. So the same thing that boxing fans kind of do. They say we don't need this because we already proved we're better. Well, that guy's rubbish. We don't need to fight him because our guy's already proved he's better. The tribalism in this is like it's on a different level. The one thing that does piss me off about this fight, though, is a guest that we've had on the show, O'Hara Davis. He's second on the WBA rankings. He's fighting Lewis Ritson this year, and Lewis Ritson number 4. Does O'Hara now have to take a step back and just fight Lewis Ritson and then just wait because this fight will happen with Romero, and let's say Rolly Romero wins or Alberto wins, and then WBA just let Tank come in and sweep in? Why do guys like this then work their way up the rankings if they're not going to get their shot when they're fighting the guys that they need to fight to get the shot? Like,
but that's how boxing's always been. It's always if you're a big name promoter, you get favors. As simple as that. And obviously Romero, if Romero beats Alberto, he's now a 2-time champion, 1-time he's gonna say he's a unified champion in the 140 in the 140 division because he has a regular and a full title. So so maybe he vacates the regular so Howard Davis can fight for it. That's the only thing I can think of that could be, I don't know. But
there's no regular. He doesn't have the regular. It's just the super belt.
yeah, no, I'm playing.
Yeah, yeah. So, but that's the thing in it. It's like it's just disappointing because I want to see O'Hara back in because since the Jack, what was it? He lost to Jack Catterall and Josh Taylor, right? Since those fights,
he's not had backing, man, and
Yeah.
I'm disappointed about how his relationship with Matchroom ended. Obviously, it feels like Matchroom threw him under the bus with the Liverpool situation.
Yeah.
And I agree with him. Matchroom did throw him under the bus, but since then he's not really worked with any big time promoter, and
Yeah.
you need that. You need that in the world level. Unfortunately, you need one of these guys to fight your corner and lobby for you, and he doesn't bring enough money for the WBA to care about him. So he's just gonna consistently be overlooked. And the only time they're gonna give him a shot is when they see him as an easy win or easy fight for a champion. As simple as that.
Another Chris Andre says another problem that is that fighters that do take risks then get shit on. For example, AJ, man lost to a top fighter, so what? He's still a top fighter himself, but people want to write him off. So why would others see that and then take risks? That's true. Yeah.
I'll support as hell. I know I always bring up the UFC, but I don't see UFC fans doing this. I never see it.
But again, it goes back to the tribalism. Like AJ has so many people that don't like him. He has when as a fighter you have so many haters, right? It's no matter what you do, it's never enough. So AJ fought Usyk, who's potentially the best, let me not say the best heavyweight or the best talent when you include cruiserweight since Holyfield, right? In terms of cruiserweight to heavyweight, he's probably the best we've seen since Evander Holyfield in the 80s. So this is legitimate a generational fighter, a guy that's been boxing since he's a child. AJ fought him twice and lost to him. There's nothing wrong with that, but because everyone has agendas, Fury fans have their agendas, Wilder fans have their agendas, Dylan White fans have their agendas. It creates this toxic environment where fighters get shit on. And yeah, Chris Andre is right. Because of that, other fighters are going to see that and they're going to protect their own. I blame Floyd again. I blame Floyd. Obviously, before Floyd, guys still kind of protected their O's, but not to this extent. But because Floyd made the O's such a big part of his marketing, such a huge part of his marketing, it's spilled over to everyone else. You have guys fighting bums till they get the shot at the title or to take their first risk. And then when they lose, everyone's like, they don't care about them. So our sport is in big trouble. We need, as a fan base, as all the fans, we need to come together and say, you know what, if someone loses, we still support them. But that doesn't happen until, like I said, everyone has to be in on it. The commissioners has to be on it. The promoters can't just discard someone for losing. Eddie Hearn can't just dump you because you lost the fight. Frank Warren can't just dump you because you everyone has to be in on it. Where if you lose, like the way we treat Derek Chisora, everyone has to be winning. Obviously, you need to get rewarded for winning. That's is winner stays on. That's boxing. That's all combat sports. But we can't shit on these guys for losing. And until we stop having that mentality, we won't get these fights. So
yeah. And just one last comment from Chris Andre. Big up Chris Andre and his channel. Always got brilliant new content coming out every day. What's happening, boys? Agree, Shakur's on the edge of stardom. He just needs that one big name on the CV. Yeah. I mean, if we look at, we've all got friends that kind of watch boxing, but on like a casual level, right? Not many of them will be able to tell you who Shakur is, but they'll probably be able to tell you like a Ryan Garcia, Canelo, or AJ, right? So Shakur's still teetering on that, where purists know how good he is, but he's sort of teetering on that edge where he needs that one big fight, and then his name to get out that more. So hopefully it comes this year.
It will come, man. Once he gets his paws on the winner or loser of Loma and Haney. Again, if it's Haney, it's not gonna come because no one knows. No one knows Haney like that. Again, Haney's my guy, but Top Rank with their promotion, I don't know, man. So, but if it's Loma that he gets the fight and he beats Loma, even though again Loma's not like the biggest name out there, he's still a name in boxing where even casuals would be like, wow, do you know what I mean? Lomachenko, I swear this guy's amazing. Isn't this guy the one that they call the Matrix or whatever? So he needs that sort of name, and I feel like it will get it this year or next year. It will be Shakur's breakout year. So, and I'm really excited for it.
I think he'll get that superstardom if he fights a guy like Javante or Ryan.
Yeah, but he's not.
Those won't happen.
They won't.
Off topic, yeah. Haney needs to move up, man.
Yeah, he will.
But everything, like the last 2 weigh-ins, this guy looks like a skeleton, bro. It looks mad.
Bro, did you see him stand with Terence Crawford?
Bro, he's a big guy, bro.
Yeah.
He needs to move up.
Yeah, this has got to be his last fight.
He's holding up for the Lomachenko one, and then he's going to move up.
He has to move up, man, because...
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, Loma, if he beats Loma, that CV, yeah?
That's a CV,
hey, I understand, man. I understand why.
As well. That's
man. Hey, it changes.
Cambosos, Linares, Loma.
Yeah, it changes, man. People got to look at Haney different if he wins that.
Different.
So. Yeah. And also at 140, there's loads of vacant belts that you can just go and get one. So right now, so there's one vacant belt right now, so you could go and get it if it happens. You never know. So and that's also a tasty division for him to get into because a lot of fighters there that you're like, oh, maybe like Regis Prograis, Josh Taylor, Jack Catterall, loads of guys at that weight that Teofimo Lopez, loads of guys at that weight that could make loads of big fights.
Lopez needs therapy, man. He needs therapy right now. That guy's ended, bruv. Have I still got it? No, he's finished. No,
the thing is though, like in terms of physical and stylistic, he's actually not bad. It's just he's just not been there.
He's not bad at all. I think he's
just not been there since Cambosos.
I blame the people around him, man. They just they didn't look after him, man. Because
and he's not young, man.
It's not about being young. It's not about being young. Obviously, he was going through a lot during that period when he was running, like he was doing his thing. Obviously, he divorced. I swear he divorced his wife.
His wife left him, and then she came back, and they had the baby as well at the same time.
And just loads of stuff was going on in his life, and then obviously once you lose, you start doubting yourself. So it's just loads of things just gone on at the same time, and obviously he's trying to have that false confidence of I'm the best, I'm still the best. But in the back of your head, you're always going to doubt yourself. That's what happens when you lose, and he didn't get the opportunity to get back. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say you got the opportunity to get back, you might not feel this way. So it's like the guy that you've been calling a fake champion has done what you want to do and more. The guy you're calling a fake champion, what is legitimately undisputed, he beat the guy that beat you twice, he whooped him twice easy, and he's about to fight the guy that you beat. And if he beats the guy that you beat as well, and then it's gonna come to your division, it's like, bro, it's gonna hurt. So I understand how he feels, but hey, I'm excited for 140 because there's a lot of storylines there. Clearly, like we could easily build Haney versus Teofimo as a super fight if things go right. If legit, you're laughing, but if Teofimo
laughing at you.
If Teofimo gets a belt and Shakur comes up after beating Loma, he gets a belt. Fam, a big unification. I don't know why this guy's laughing like this.
So Life of Bodge says, lol, the GTA wife beers got me cracking up.
I'm so dead.
And then someone called Dapo Abdul says, J.J. Johnson.
You lot are ridiculous.
This guy went on mute just
to type that.
I don't want to ruin his flow. He was flowing.
But
but you're right about the whole Haney, and hopefully with Teo he gets a new support system and something in place where it's like he gets to a better place, because I want to see him at his best fight the top guys. And Josh Taylor can piss off because I know his foot's not hurting.
Hey, listen, he needs to just go to 147, man. We're tired of him, man.
He's
getting flogged either way. So we'll wrap it up there. Call it a day there. I think we covered a lot. That's a good episode. So click subscribe, like this video, comment some stuff, and follow us on Twitter at Ringside Fracas. tweet us anything, DMs, questions, or anything you want us to cover in any episodes that you want to see topics covered. Give us 5 stars on Spotify. Give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. And please join us for the next one, and we'll see you there.
See you. Peace out.
Thank you.